Hi, welcome back to Inspired by Taja. My name is Tajalee, and today we will be talking about the step-by-step process on how to apply for an H2B visa. So it is a lot of information. So if you guys see me looking from this notepad I have here, don't mind me. So we will talk about, as we were discussing in the next video, when employers start recruit or hiring, which we did talk about the time frame in which employers start to hire. For example, some start as soon as January, some start February, early February. So employers start recruiting for the H2B program as soon as January, as we discussed earlier, as well as some of them do start early, some of them start around February. That's the most common time frame for them to start recruiting for foreign workers. So also, there is a list of approved agencies, because applying for an H2B job, you can either do it independently by yourself or you can go through an agency. So if you do decide to go through an agency in Jamaica that recruits workers to place them overseas, then I would suggest for you to go on to the ministry's website. I will be posting a link there. So, and I also will be putting it in the description below. So if you do decide to go through an agency, as I was saying, there is a list of approved agencies on the ministry's website in Jamaica that you can go on to see the agencies who renew their license each year, which is a requirement for them, who renew their license each year, and to see which agencies are eligible to are approved to hire to place Jamaicans in jobs overseas. So I will be putting up that link in the description below, as well as you will see it on the screen. So if you do decide to go through an agency, because we're talking about how to apply, so if you do decide to go through this medium and apply through an agency, then what the agency will do is they'll send off your information to the employer, and if the employer selects you, then an interview in most cases will be done by that employer and you. And if that employer do decide to move forward with you, then the agency will start your visa process. So what will happen is that the employer, all the necessary documents and requirements on the employer's end will be sent over to the agency, and the agency will start your visa process. So with applying through an agency, not all of them, but most of them require for you to have some form of experience, because there's a lot of requirements that they do have if you should sign up with them to get an H2B job. So some of them require you to have a minimum 1 year experience in the field which you're applying, along with a job recommendation or a job letter, as well as other requirements that they have, like a copy of your passport here and all the necessary documents. So most of the agencies, because in trying to reach out to these agencies, because I reached out to some of these agencies to apply, and most of them have the requirements for you to have a job letter, to have experience in the field in which you're applying. And I'm guessing that's because because these employers who work with agencies in Jamaica, they have a good relationship with these agencies, and in turn these agencies want to ensure that they are giving these employers the best of the best candidates. I'm not saying some candidates without experience aren't good as well, because I came to prove that, because I didn't have any experience in the field which I applied for. However, these agencies, they want you with experience so that they can provide the best candidates to their employers. So to apply independently, or applying independently, it requires a lot more than if you should go ahead and sign up with an agency, because you will be putting in more work and you will have to find these employers by yourself. So you can find them either by phoning them, by emailing them. You can reach out to them by phoning them, emailing them, and in expressing your interest to them, that you are interested in a position, maybe a position that they posted that they are recruiting for, or you can just call, email, and just inquire about any positions they have open. Most of them will not know exactly what you're talking about. For example, if you call a hotel overseas that does H2B, it would be best, because once you call, you'll be speaking with front desk. I've experienced that multiple times. So when you call, you'll be speaking with front desk. So what I would advise you to do is when you call, you ask to speak with an HR representative. Specifically, sometimes when you see a job posting, you will see an email, or what you'd see is a name of the recruiter, of the person who put out the job ad, or the person who is doing the recruitment for that company. So what you can do, you can call and ask directly to speak with those persons. In that way you get a direct contact to them. Sometimes, a lot of times, they're busy. Sometimes they ask you to leave a message. Sometimes the front desk transfers you, but there's no one on the other line. Sometimes they're busy, but it's definitely important for you to leave a message with your name, your contact number, and your email if possible. Because leaving out of 10 persons you call and none of them picks up, you leaving a message to these 10 persons, there is a guarantee that at least one or two of them will reach out to you. So the more you leave, or the more you do a follow-up, or you leave your contact information, the better the chances will be for you. So upon reaching out to these employers independently by yourself, then if they do decide to move forward with you, what will happen is that they'll put you, some of the employers work with agencies in Jamaica, but what they do is they want to do their recruitment process on their own. So they don't leave it up to the agencies. So they will take your information, they will look at your resume. If they do decide to move forward with you, they will go ahead and interview you. They will give you a job offer, and then they'll pass your information to an agency if they work with an agency in Jamaica. And sometimes, even so, when that agency reach out to you, they still have some requirements. It not be as great as if you go to the agency directly, because when they send down your name to the agency, then it kind of takes it a step further for you. But some of them do still have certain requirements. So when they send your information to the agency, then the agency would start your visa process. Or if it's a case where they do not work with an agency, they're just independent, what they will do is, once they do decide to move forward with you and they get their petition approved and all of that, what they will do is they will send you the required documents via email, and so that you can start your visa process. So all of that will be done by you and only you, because they don't work with an agency and there's literally no one else for them to say, okay. So they would cut out the middleman and they would go straight directly to you. Once you get those documents, then they can tell you how to start the process as well. It's not hard. It's a very simple process. You just send in all the required documents that the embassy requires to complete the visa. Yes, so as I was saying, they will, once they send you those documents, then you would go ahead. It's also on the embassy's website, all the information that you'll need. You'll need a printout of the petition and maybe the job order. Don't quote me on that. And along with your passport, a passport size picture, and maybe a few other documents. So the information is there though. So you would do that. You would send that to the send that to Kingston at the Dropbox, and then once the embassy receives that, then you also can get updates on your visa process. So it will tell you that they received your documents and if it's processing or what is happening. So all that information would be there, because since you are the one who is doing your visa process, then your email will be used, because normally it's the agency's email that's been used. So that's how the agency would know if you are getting your visa approved. Also, when you guys hear me talk about sending your passports to the embassy is kind of cutting out interviews at this time. So it would be like an interview waiver. So what happens is that persons, especially persons who don't get a denial, what happens is that if it's your first time and you have never been denied of a visa, not only H2B but even a visiting visa, if you're never denied a visa, then what happens is that it's much more easier for you, because that way once your books are sent in, then the embassy does not call you for an interview. If they do decide to give you that visa, then they'll go ahead and print it and let you know when to pick up your passports. So also, before an employer can hire you and you can apply for your visa, there is a process in which the employer has to follow to hire foreign workers. So the first step is that the employer must advertise and recruit for the job in an attempt to find US workers. So they must show proof that they cannot find workers in the United States for the job positions that they want us to fill. So they have to verify that they cannot find these workers, and that's through a process. So they have to verify that. So they have to first start the process by recruiting for these workers. After recruiting for these workers in the United States, if no adequate workers are found, the employer must then apply for a temporary labor certificate. After having that labor certificate approved, they must file a visa petition. This is a petition a copy of this you would take to the embassy to start your visa process. So after the petition is approved, then that's when they will send you a copy for you to apply for your visa at your local consulate or the embassy. So an employer, they can give you a job offer, say January, but they may not get their petition approved until late February or close to March. So bear in mind also that there's nothing an employer can do as it relates to applying for your visa until their petition is approved. So they can offer you a job offer. They can give you a job offer. Say, Keisha, I want you to be a part of our team, and in the position of a server, for example. And they say, okay, they send you the job offer and all of that. But there's actually nothing they can do until their visa is approved. So say, for example, they give you that job offer in January, and they apply for their petition, and they're waiting sometimes, depending on, because it's actually like a lottery system, so it's complicated as it relates to the employers getting their petition approved. So say, for example, they don't get approved until late March. That's when it's good to follow up with them though, but that's when they'll reach out to you to send you these documents so that you can go ahead and apply for your visa. What I would also recommend for persons, because it's always good to have multiple job offers, because what if it's a case where because it's not good to put all your eggs in one basket, because what if it's a case where you have this job offer from a certain employer, but when it comes to the time for when they give you a job offer January, as I said previously, and you're waiting on them to get their petition approved, it will take a while, so you're waiting out, you are seeing, you're following up with them, they're telling you that, okay, we're still waiting for our final approval, etc., etc. So what if it's a case where when that time comes, like for example March, and they find out that they did not get approved to hire any workers, leaves you hanging. So what I would recommend is for persons to have not only one job offer but multiple job offers, just in case. But once one of these employers gets the first one that gets their petition approved, I would advise you to move forward with that employer. Also, I would advise you to, it's good to reach out to the other employers to let them know that you have accepted another job offer and you would be moving forward with a different company, so that you don't keep them hanging. But it's good to not have all your eggs in one basket, but to have options. Also, there's a lot of employers each season that who files petitions to get foreign workers, because in the United States currently there's a lot of there's a lot of businesses that has to be closed down because they can't find workers. There's a lot of employers who really cannot find workers to keep their business afloat, to operate on a daily basis. So even some of these companies that do hire H2B workers, some of them only do for one season. Like some of them would only open their business only for the summer season, because it really makes no sense to open for the rest of the year because there are no workers available. What I will also be doing is to share ways on how persons can start applying for jobs. So please note that the first step before applying is to have a good resume. So your resume speaks for you. So when an employer pulls up your resume, because just imagine an employer advertised their jobs and a lot of persons are sending them emails or calling them, and even when you call them, they'll tell you, okay, go ahead and send your resume. So what I would advise is, when you do decide to call this employer, when you call them, let them know, okay, yes, I've sent my resume. And what you can do, you can send your resume before you go ahead and call them, so that they can have it on hand. Because some of them will just cut you off to tell you, okay, go ahead and send an email with your resume. So your resume, it speaks for you. It's a representation of you. So ensure that your resume is well put together, so that when an employer pulls up your file or your resume, it stands out and because they're getting a lot of emails each day. So when they pull up your resume, they should see something that makes them want to reach out to you or makes them want to move forward with you. So I'm gonna let you guys know of two websites that employers normally post some of the jobs on. So the first one is Seasonal Connect. I'll be putting it up on the screen here. So it's seasonalconnect.com. So on that website, they have a few employers. You can what will happen on that website is you have to create a job profile, so employers can reach out to you when you do apply for a job. So for example, you create your job profile, you fill in all the necessary information, and also it is specifically for H2B, whether in country or out of country. The first timers or new persons will be considered out of country because you're not in the United States. So in country would be considered for the persons who went up on the program and they are seeking extension. They're not coming home in Jamaica, but they're seeking to extend with a different employer maybe. So that is also a legal way as well, because as an H2B visa holder, you can stay in the United States maximum 3 years by extending 1 year once your contract ends, but you cannot stay over that 3-year period. So that website is Seasonal Connect. So you can go ahead and sign up on that website, create your job profile. Also, the other website is the Department of Labor website, the DOL website. So what you can do, you can go on Google and you can type in seasonal jobs.dol.gov. I will be also posting that link on the screen for you guys to see it, and also in the description as well. So that website, that is for H2A, which is the agricultural work program, and for H2B, which is non-agricultural. So on that website, employers post a lot of different jobs on that website. And on that website specifically, what they do have is, say for example, you go on the website, you can either search by entering different fields. So you say you're searching by the job position, so you type in server, and then you'll see all the jobs that are posted come up. Say for example, you click on one of those jobs, what you will see is you will see maybe like a telephone number and email. You will see information about the job, how much they're paying hourly, as well as there will be a link to the job order. When you click on that job order, there's a lot more in specific information. It will show you housing, how much the employer is charging for housing, because when applying and obtaining an H2B job and you get into the United States, there is housing that the employer provides. It's recommended by the US government. So they would charge you a small amount weekly to put towards housing, because as we all know, rent is expensive in the United States. So on that job order, if you should click on it, I think it's a PDF form, I'm not sure, you will see a lot of information about the job, in-depth information about the job, and how you can go about reaching out. So that's how we do find some employers as well. So that's it for today as it relates to how to apply. I really hope this was beneficial to you guys. So join me in the next video where we will discuss how to maneuver these websites a little bit better. And also there will be more information regarding the H2B program, so that persons can get a better understanding also as they go along. So remember to like, subscribe, share, and you can also tell a friend and put them onto the channel so that they can also get some information as well. Because it's good to go ahead and share. It's good to share what you know as well, because that's how I got through on the program. Persons shared a lot of information with me, as well as I shared a lot of information with other persons. Also, there was a lot of persons whom I've helped to get on the program as well as how persons helped me. So it's good to tell someone about it, because you might you may never know, someone can be out there looking to apply, but they don't know how to go about it. So you can tell them about the channel, or you can reach out to them and tell them what you know, so that they can be aware as well. In the next videos to come as well, I will be sharing my experience from applying to getting the job offers and to getting into the United States. So thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good day.